Essentially, it's the world's most expensive houseplant in the world's biggest pot. Right now, billions of people are watching the World Cup. They're watching the players, the goals, the drama that ensues. And almost nobody is paying attention to the most interesting thing on that pitch. Spoiler alert, it's not the players, it's the thing they're standing on. The grass under those players' feet is one of the most engineered plants in the world. And what they've done to keep that grass alive in these modern day coliseums is genuinely incredible. And honestly, a little bit crazy. This World Cup is the biggest in history. 16 stadiums, 3 countries and 3 different climate zones. 104 matches on the same surface. Or at least that's what FIFA needs it to feel like. Because here's the thing, 8 of those 16 stadiums don't normally have grass growing at all. They're NFL stadiums built for artificial turf, not built to sustain or support a living plant. So FIFA's brought in university scientists, turf researchers from Tennessee and Michigan State, and gave them years to solve it. And the solution that they came up with starts with something that every gardener will recognise and ends somewhere completely unexpected. At its core, the whole thing boils down to 2 plants. Warm venues like Miami, Guadalajara, the outdoor stadiums in the heat, get Bermuda grass. The cooler venues and the domed stadiums get a blend of Kentucky bluegrass and perennial ryegrass. And then you've got the fully roofed stadiums, which are getting a grass native to the British Isles, specifically chosen because it can survive low light. Now here's where it gets real interesting for anyone who grows plants. All of that sod across 14 of the 16 stadiums was grown on sod farms for a full year before the tournament, then harvested, rolled up, loaded into refrigerated trucks and shipped cross-country to the stadiums. Some of it has travelled for thousands of miles. Cool season sod grown in Denver and Washington State, shipped down to domed stadiums in the south. And when it arrived, it wasn't even planted into the ground. It was laid over the top of a plastic honeycomb structure over a waterproof liner to protect the stadium floor underneath. Essentially, it's the world's most expensive houseplant in the world's biggest pot. But getting the right grass into the right stadium is only half the battle. Keeping it alive once it gets there, that's where things get real interesting. Once the sod is in, that's when the engineering really kicks in. Synthetic fibres are stitched into the base of the grass. The researchers describe it as a rebar for turf. It stops the surface tearing when a player cuts hard or a goalkeeper churns up the 6-yard box. Sensors buried into the root zone monitor the whole thing constantly, and if the field needs water, the entire pitch can be fully saturated and drained in 3 minutes flat. The grass must be mowed to exactly 22 millimeters. Not 20, not 25, exactly 22. Any shorter and you can stress out the plant and lose the entire field. And then you've got the grow lights. In the domed stadiums, natural light doesn't reach the grass, so they've built rigs. In Dallas alone, 18 ceiling-mounted grow light units that lower down over the pitch, open out over the grass, run for hours and then fold back up before its kickoff. Pink light flooding a stadium the size of a city block. And alongside the lights, industrial fans, in some venues 6 of them, blowing air across the surface at exactly 5 miles an hour. Not to cool down the players, but for the grass to prevent fungal diseases and root rot. Across all 16 stadiums, they've laid 88 miles of natural sod. grown for a year, engineered down to a millimetre, shipped across a continent, and the team that built it, the scientists, the turf managers, the people who have spent years on this, they're hoping that you'll never notice. Because if the grass blends into the game, if you're just watching the football and not noticing the surface at all, then that means that they've done their job perfectly. It's one of the most thankless jobs in sport. Do it well and nobody cares. Nobody will remember your name. One bad patch, one viral clip of a ball dying at a player's feet, and suddenly you're the story. And after the tournament ends, most of the grass will be far too worn to salvage. 6 weeks of football, and then it's gone. I find that a little sad, but also real fascinating. The most watched plant on Earth, seen by billions of people, and almost nobody stops to think about it. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. What teams are you rooting for this World Cup? And if you're still here and you've watched right to the end, well, thanks. That helps my channel out hugely. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I don't even watch football. This is a family thing. I support Liverpool because my family supports Liverpool. And if I have to choose a team, it'll be Liverpool. But really, I don't care about football at all. My interest in football is microscopic. I am genuinely more interested on the grass on that pitch than the overpaid players that are kicking that pigskin around. So until next time, guys, I'll see you next time.